Welcome to Central News on TV Central. Discussions are currently being made to strengthen trade opportunities between New Zealand and India. Amy spoke with Frank from the Waikato Management School during their forum to find out what it's all about.
The idea was to ensure that Waikato, the Bay of Plenty, were part of New Zealand Inc.'s strategy for engaging with India. It's a great opportunity for this country. We've seen the takeoff of commercial relationships with China. We need to do the same thing with India.
What are you hoping to achieve today?
The key thing for us today is to bring together business people, government people and academics to discuss the challenges and to have business people, government people and academics from both the India side and the New Zealand side so we can wrestle with the challenges and progress the issues so that commerce is more successful and with less stress.
And who are some of the influential guests that are present today at the forum?
So we have a number of important domestic guests from Fonterra, from Trade and Enterprise and from the university. But more particularly today we welcome guests from India, from the National Dairy Research Institute. We've got Dr. Kulkarni. We have a couple of senior people in the Indian tourism ministries. In addition, we have Dr. James, who's an academic who works on markets and marketing in India. And as well as that, we've had one person who's been successfully involved in leading incubators in the marketing advertising space from India. So we're trying to get their experiences so that we just have a better understanding of the situation over there.
Now, you are halfway through the forum today. What have been the key priorities that have been discussed?
The two big issues discussed so far have been IT and the dairy industry. What are the opportunities? And clearly in the dairy side, the Indian dairy market is growing at a fast clip, but also dairy production is also growing quickly in India, and so they need new processing plants every year. There's talk of perhaps 100 new processing plants a year, and so we want to be part of the technology exchange, the management and facilitating that development so that there's alignment between the activities of the Indians and New Zealand's investments in the area.
Now, why India? How much do we export to this country every year?
Okay, so we're getting pretty close to $1 billion a year of New Zealand exports. I believe the latest figure is $938 million, and there has the potential for that to grow. Historically, a lot of that export has been in the form of coke, coking coal and other commodities, but I think we're going to see more in the more sophisticated food, IT, health sector, services, infrastructure development. So there's a whole lot more coming. I think we're going to see much greater diversity.
What other benefits could this bring to the Waikato?
Well, I think historically we've just thought about sort of exports, but now it's not just exports, it's the opportunity to place Waikato managerial talent, Waikato intellectual property in India in relationship with high quality partners, and so that's going to improve both financial flows, educational flows, people flows, so we're quite excited about that.
How will the topics discussed be put into action after today's meeting?
Well, I think that happens at several different levels. Certainly commercial people have made introductions today, and so they will be following through on a business to business basis. But I think from the university perspective, what's been most important is all the commercial participants have emphasised the importance of research. You know, if you take risks and go off on bold international adventures, you need to know what you're doing. And so this university is committed to undertaking research programs collaboratively with New Zealand firms with Indian firms and with partners in India, and we believe this is an important part of supporting these firms and their activities.
Are there any future forums planned to discuss this further?
So our plan is to hold a forum like this every year, but for them to alternate between New Zealand and India. So we're still seeking to clarify the details, but we plan to have a forum in India next year and be back here in 2 years' time. So there's quite a diversity of organisations here today, ranging from individual farmers who have established corporate entities in India and are developing farms over there at the moment. I spoke to one gentleman who's halfway through building a new cowshed in India at the moment, to student recruitment firms who are bringing students out to Wintec and the university and seeking to align the student needs with the corporate needs. But then other players, for instance, ag research, the significant CRI involved in agricultural research, and Waikato Innovation Park. They're both here participating today with participants who are trying to develop their research agenda and transfer knowledge and find commercial opportunities. So there's a diversity of firms engaged.
Stay tuned, as up next we see how Undercover Cody is celebrating his birthday. Welcome back. The Cancer Society's SunSmart mascot, Undercover Cody, turned 10 this year. I spoke with the Cancer Society to see who Cody is and what he does in our regions. So Rachel, who is Undercover Cody?
Undercover Cody is the Cancer Society's SunSmart turtle mascot.
And so he's a great big turtle who says, you've got to be undercover?
Yep, undercover, slip, slop, slap and wrap is his main message to keep kids sun-smart.
So it is his 10th birthday. Tell us about how you're going to celebrate his 10th birthday.
A number of new initiatives for his 10th birthday, one of our most exciting being the Undercover Cody Roadshow. That's currently travelling around the Waikato and Bay of Plenty at the moment to 150 schools, teaching kids the slip, slop, slap and wrap message.
So does he go into the classrooms and do a personal lesson with them about all those kind of messages?
Yeah, we've got our SunSmart ambassador, which will take the kids through the message, and Cody just livens it up with a bit of dancing and SunSmart moves and things like that.
So what is his key message?
His key message is slip, slop, slap and wrap, so obviously that refers back to slipping into the shade, slipping on a t-shirt, slapping on a hat, slipping on sunscreen and wrapping on sunglasses when you're out in the sun.
And do you think that message is getting across to the children of today?
Yeah, I think it is, and I think that Undercover Cody is a fun way that it does come across to them. They like Undercover Cody, he's a fun character, and we do all we can to get that message across.
Why a turtle?
It's a concept that the Cancer Society came up with about 10 years ago now. Obviously he has his own cover with the shell, so it's sort of a bit of a play on that, but he's also just a cute, lovable character.
So now you've actually also launched, on his 10th birthday, you've also launched this new app. Tell us about that.
The new app is a new resource. Obviously we've got the website and activity books and your more standard educational resources. The app is sort of branching into technology that, kids are high-end users of technology these days, so we wanted to sort of try something different. The dress-up sort of concept plays obviously on the slip, slop, slap and wrap message, so kids are able to dress Cody up in a variety of different clothing, sunglasses, if they don't complete sort of all four of the slip, slop, slap and wrap concepts, then they won't complete the app. So there's a little bit of a tricky concept to it, but it is more a bit of fun for the kids.
So it's a bit of a game?
Yeah, there's definitely a game element to it, but it's educational as well. Teachers and schools can use it in their classrooms as well as parents at home can use it with their kids.
So what has the reaction been so far?
It's been really positive. We've had parents comment that it sort of allows children to be responsible for their own SunSmart behaviour, which is good, and a lot of teachers have downloaded it to use it in the classroom.
Well, it's quite exciting. And why did you decide to create the app? Is it solely because of the birthday and the technology side of it?
Yeah, Something special to celebrate the birthday, to give kids a new present, I suppose, for Undercover Cody, and to branch into that technology, that new sort of space that obviously kids are into and ahead of us with it, I suppose.
Oh yes, they're definitely ahead of me. So why is it so important to teach children sun safety?
Research has proven that a lot of sun damage is done when children are young and sort of adolescent age, so we like to start from scratch, start when they're young, teach them the slip, slop, slap and wrap message that they take into adulthood, and then obviously teach their kids later on that message.
I guess it's about their prevention rather than...
Yeah, absolutely. Starting young, getting to learn those key sort of concepts and going from there.
I remember reading somewhere recently that if you are sunburnt at a younger age, that's actually increasing your rate of skin cancer.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely sort of studies being done around that, and that's why we think it's a good opportunity to get in young at those kids, you know, early kids, and teach them that message to prevent that later on.
Do you think theoretically it is the responsibility of the parent though?
Well, the Cancer Society is committed to reducing the impact and incidence of all cancer in our society. With that, we start with SunSmart education and do what we can to support teachers, families and parents with that.
So but parents should be taking responsibility for their children at the beach, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I think they can. I mean, with the slip, slop, slap and wrap message, they can take that on and help their kids along with that, but it's also an easy message that kids can remember for themselves as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, if your child does get sunburnt this summer, what would be your advice on trying to minimise the effects of it?
Well, I mean, once the skin is burnt, you can only sort of, you know, treat the skin as you can really, and remember for next time that, you know, it's easier to cover up than try and sort it out later on.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, again, prevention is the best medicine, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So the key messages are slip into the shade.
Yep. Slip on a shirt.
Slip on a shirt. Slap on sunscreen.
Slap on a hat, slop on some sunscreen and wrap on some sunglasses.
Awesome, cool. Well, thank you very much, and all the best with Undercover Cody's
Thank you.
new app and his roadshow.
Thank you.
Just ahead, remote access for radiology. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. A doctor from the Waikato Hospital has recently created a new remote access technology that has the potential to save time and lives. Amy caught up with two of the project managers to find out how this works.
The project started in November 2011. Basically, we were tasked with providing remote access to clinicians so that they could see images outside of the hospital, as well as providing an archive for all of the images that are taken at the hospital.
How did the project start, and how much work has been put in to ensure its success?
The project started after it was realised that there's a lot of images taken at the hospital that are not currently sent to a central storage bucket, so to speak. A lot of work has been undertaken as part of the project. We started by collecting requirements from each of the customers. We then looked at their processes to determine what changes were going to be impacted as a result of the project, and a lot of testing and training went on for the end users before the system was actually implemented and up and running.
What other benefits will this bring to both patients and doctors?
There's a significant number of benefits that this project has delivered. The main benefit is that all of the information is now in the one location, so it means that it's much more accessible. Doctors can view these images at multiple locations and simultaneously. So if an opinion is required now, the doctor can simply ring up and speak to one of the radiologists, and they can both look at these images at the same time. It also provides a complete clinical history, so images that are taken when the patient first arrives in, say for example, ED, are now displayed within a timeline.
So where can you view the images and scans?
So images can potentially be viewed from any computer, providing the end user has an authorised access password. They can be viewed from home, they can be viewed from the hospital, other hospitals throughout the region, and in time, hopefully over iPhones and tablets.
What was the driver of this project?
The main driver of the project was the limited storage space within the new facility, as well as the goal of becoming paper light.
I also spoke with Dr. Kim McAnulty as to how this technology could potentially save lives. Kim, how does the remote access save time and potentially save lives?
It enables patients to get their diagnostic imaging much closer to home without having to travel great distances, because everyone in the Midland region can see the same images at the same time. It also means that multiple clinicians can get together anywhere in the country or in the Midland region to look at those images and make a decision about what is the best way to manage the patient. The other thing is that patients who need urgent and quick intervention, patients who are involved in trauma or car accidents, can have all their imaging done and then be transferred immediately to Waikato Hospital. And when they arrive, everybody's here ready to go to treat them straight away.
What type of medical cases will this be mainly used for?
Any type of radiology imaging, so that's X-rays, ultrasound, CT and MRI. Dental images that can be done anywhere and be transferred here. Images that are performed with a video and ENT. Cardiac ultrasound images. So a big range of things that can be held on the system.
And who would use this technology?
Anyone really can use the technology. It's very simple to use, but basically everyone needs access, or to be allowed access to the imaging. So you just need to be a health professional working for one of the DHBs, usually in New Zealand, who has been given rights to access the images, just to keep patient confidentiality and make sure the right people are looking at the images.
Could you give us an example of how this technology has advanced medical treatment?
There's one particular instance where a patient was in Hawke's Bay Hospital. They had a problem with one of their arteries that needed urgent treatment. Wellington Hospital, which is where the patient would normally get transferred to, was full. They were able to call us at Waikato Hospital. The radiologist, so that's the X-ray doctor involved, he could look at the images from home and say, yep, transfer the patient urgently up to Waikato Hospital. And he mobilised all of the team, there's quite a big team required, to treat that patient and get them all at the hospital at the time when the patient arrived at the hospital. Normally, that patient would have to arrive at Waikato Hospital, get all their imaging done here, then the team gets mobilised. So there's quite a significant delay in treatment for that patient. So for this guy, he got quick treatment in a really fast way in a place he normally would never get treatment.
And how does this impact your day-to-day job?
Well, it has a big impact in that I can now see every sort of radiology imaging that this patient has had done anywhere in the hospital or the Midland region. So I'm more aware of all of the procedures that have happened to the patient, and I can compare different studies from different locations within this hospital, like an ultrasound that got performed in the emergency department to a CT that gets performed in the radiology department. So I'm better able to provide a complete picture and a better diagnosis for this patient by having access to all of those images. The other advantage is that I can call the clinician who's looking after the patient, and he may be anywhere in the Midland region, and he can get on the phone and we can look at the images at the same time and have a discussion about what we think is going on with the patient and get a better idea, so a better diagnosis and a better treatment plan for that patient by everyone able to be looking at those images at the same time.
That is the news for today. We really want you to be involved, so like us on Facebook and let us know your views. If you have news including your own video and photos, go to our website and hit upload. Thanks for joining us. I will be back tomorrow night with more guests from in and around the regions. I'm Hilary Twissell. Have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.